speech, I'm only going to react to a segment of the speech where he's talking about the African nations being excluded from the UN Security Council. So let me give you a little bit of explanation on what is the UN Security Council. So we have the United Nations and its organs. So for example, UNICEF and, the UNDP, that's the United Nations Development Program. So we have different UN organs, and then we have the UN system itself, and that's the system that does like the UN General Assembly. So everybody's a part of the UN system if you want to be, if a country wants to elect to be an active part of the UN system. So you can come and participate in the United Nations General Assembly. You can voice your opinion on certain United Nations things that are going on, topics. And then there is a sector, the United Nations Security Council. And the United Nations Security Council, I want you to think about it as the actual, that's where the power lies. So think about it like a nucleus, and that's the powerhouse. And that's what the UN Security Council is. But that UN Security Council, not every country is a part of it. There are five core members, and those members have veto power. So that is the United States, France, the United Kingdom, Russia, China. Yeah, so five. So they have veto power. So let's assume that there is a case of global importance and it comes to the UN Security Council. Russia can veto, China can veto. And that's honestly the reason why a lot of things don't get done, because of veto power. So it doesn't really matter if, let's say, Russia or China or United Kingdom or France wants to do something. If the US can veto, Russia can veto. And so it's very difficult for anything to get done with the UN Security Council, unless because it's like allies. So the United States is allied with the United Kingdom. Russia is always probably be allied to China. So it's like, if it has anything to do with their allies and matters that are important to their allies, nothing will get done. But of course, if it has something to do with African nations, where a lot of African nations are not allied with any Western nation, so a lot of times it'll get done fast to punish them or bring any resolution against them or something is going to get done fast. Also, the UN Security Council is the arm that refers cases to the International Court of Justice. So the International Court of Justice deals with cases between two nation states, right? So the UN Security Council will refer cases to the International Court of Justice. The International Criminal Court, on the other hand, it's an independent body, and it deals with cases for individual people. So individuals can be brought onto the International Criminal Court, and then the International Court of Justice is another arm of the United Nations, and the UN Security Council is the one that refers cases there. Whew, so that's an international law crash course for you. I am an international lawyer, so I went to school for this. I work in that right now. So I just gave you a summary so you can have a broad picture of why it's very important that President Ruto is speaking on the UN Security Council. A lot of African nations have felt disenfranchised by the United Nations, and honestly, as well as the International Criminal Court.